everyone, and welcome back to Happy at Home. Today I'm going to be taking you into my living room to share with you my newly decorated hutch for fall. I am so excited with how it turned out. I love it so much, and I hope you'll enjoy it too. So let's get started. So this is what my hutch looks like for this fall. I tried to keep things real simple and not to add too much to it. I am loving how this turned out. It's simple, it's pretty, and it's not over the top fall, which is what I was hoping for. So I'm going to take you through shelf by shelf and show you up close what I used. So hopefully it'll be a little bit of inspiration for you. So let's go ahead and get started. So starting at the very tippy top of the hutch, I have this basket, which I picked up at the thrift store not too long ago. You probably remember that from a thrift store Thursday haul. I just added some hydrangea blooms that I clipped from my backyard and just piled them in there, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And then to soften it just a little bit more, I added these eucalyptus stems, which are faux, and I just think that adds a nice little extra little touch on the top. Quick, simple, and pretty. So that is what I went for up there. And then over here on this top shelf, I have this gorgeous silver 2 candlestick holder, which I picked up at the thrift store years ago, and I never remembered to use it. So I decided I was going to take it out and put it up here. I love how simplistic it looks in here with nothing else except for another sprig of greenery. And I just think it looks very nice and, you know, architectural almost. And I'm liking the look. And then moving on to the other shelf, I added a soup dream from my collection and then another sprig of the greenery. And I just like, once again, the simplicity of the arrangement with all the white space behind it that's open and airy looking. So I think the two together look very nice. You'll notice as we work our way down the hutch, I begin to add a little bit more to each shelf. So that kind of gives me, as I go visually up the hutch, it gives me that airy feeling, more weighted at the bottom and more light and airy at the top. I don't know if that makes any sense, but to me that's kind of how I normally do it. This next shelf down, I started by adding this wood box, which I picked up at a thrift store years ago. I've had it forever. It's a cute little box. It's got a little wooden divider that goes in it, and I absolutely love it. And then on top of that, I added 2 silver pieces because I wanted to bring in that silver element, which I crave this time of year. I just love how rustic the tarnishment on it looks with like the gorgeous, you know, curved and unique handles. I love that look together. And both of these are actually one of my favorite pieces because they are both monogrammed. This one has an H on it. This one I think says, it's an R and a C and an S, I believe. So anyways, I love that they're both monogrammed. I love that they both have really cool handles. So I put those up there to enjoy, and then to offset that, I added this little silver tarnish piece here. It's a little footed bowl, which I also found at the thrift store. And inside of that, I have this little pumpkin right here, which is one of those pumpkins that I painted last year. And they were the little ceramic pumpkins that were from the Target Dollar Spot. I do believe they may have them this year as well. I know I picked one up right away in the beginning of the season when they were first putting stuff out. I don't know if they still have them or not. But you can repaint any pumpkin. And if you can turn it here, you can see that this side's got the little face on it. So I just kind of turn them so that it doesn't have its little face showing. And I absolutely love it. So that is what I did on that shelf. On this next shelf, I wanted to add in some of my beloved Ironstone. So I picked these 2 coffee pots. Actually, I think this is a coffee pot, and this is a teapot. I'm not real sure the distinction. I'm thinking the coffee pots are normally taller, and the teacups or teapots are normally smaller. But anyways, this is a Johnson Brothers Ironstone, and this is a I can't remember, J&G Meakin Ironstone from England. So I love the simplicity of this shelf. You can't get more simplistic than just 2 teapots, but I like it so that I can see the shape of them and I can enjoy them. So that is what I did on that shelf. So moving down to the next shelf, I started by adding this candlestick in the middle. That is wooden. I found this at the thrift store just to sort of tie in the wood tones from the other shelf above on kitty corner of it. And on top of that, I added this little pumpkin, which I'm pretty sure I found at the thrift store. And I think I have a tutorial maybe last year on how I repainted it to look like this, which I absolutely love. And of course the little lid comes off so I can put a battery operated candle in there so it can glow during the night, which is kind of fun. And then on either side of that, I added a soup tureen. I found these two matching tureens at separate times at the thrift store, which I was super thrilled about. One of them has a sticker on it, which I can't really read other than imported from Japan. So it's a little red and gold and silver sticker. Maybe like Ensco or something like that. I can't really make it out. But anyways, I think they're awesome. I love their shape. They've got a lot of crazing on them, which makes it lovely to me. And then to soften it up and add a little more fall-like essence to the area, I added some hydrangea blooms that I just kind of broke off the big blooms and kind of tucked in there. And then some more of the greenery that is the faux stuff. So I think the whole thing all together is really pretty. So moving to the next shelf, this is the display I put together. I started with this frame in the back, which I found at the thrift store, painted, distressed it, and then later on I found this photo, which is a oil painting. It was in a really ugly frame, so I took it out of that, put it in here, and I think it looks very pretty. And then in front of that, I stacked up some ironstone plates, and then I put this little pot on top of that, all of which is from the thrift store. And then this little piece right here, it's a silver dish, and it has a little lid, which I wanted to use as well because it's so pretty. That was also found at the thrift store, so I put the lid off to the side so I could add a pumpkin inside the silver dish and a little bit of the hydrangea blooms as well. So I think the whole thing together is very pretty, simple, and, you know, true to my style. All right, moving on to almost the last area. I love this spot on my hutch. I think it turned out really nicely. I first started out with this wood box that I found at the thrift store. And then to that I added some ironstone plates, one large one in the back that was round and two oval ones on either side of that. And then I tucked in some hydrangea blooms as well from my yard. And then over here I have this bowl, which I found at the thrift store. If you may remember, these are those ones that I love so much that were like very farmhousey and real chunky. Absolutely love it. And then inside of that, I put this pumpkin, which I've had for years and years. It's like a hard resin pumpkin, and it's like the perfect size for this little bowl. And then off to the other side over here, you may remember this candle holder from a recent thrift store Thursday haul. I added that into the mix as well, and I just love it so much. All right, and then moving on to the final shelf on my hutch. I love this arrangement as well. I started out with this silver tray in the back. Definitely a thrift store item, which I have had for years. I debated about whether or not to maybe try to get some of the tarnish off, but I decided in the end that I liked it that way. And then this right here is an ironstone pitcher, which I love the handle and love the shape of the flute, which is really pretty. So I added that to the mix. And then I added this pumpkin. This was from, I believe, Michael's last year, possibly the year before. It's a resin pumpkin, and I like its, you know, sort of rustic feel to it. Plus, it's white, which is perfect. And then I added the pumpkin on top of this dictionary, which I found at the Goodwill bins when I went shopping with Nicole. You may remember that video recently. So I thought that was perfect. It's a little bit of brown, which kind of ties in with the wood tones that I have going on as well. And then, of course, I added a little of this greenery off to the side, and then some hydrangeas over on the other side. And I think it works, and it's quick and simple and looks pretty. So that, my friends, is how my hutch turned out for this brand new fall season. I couldn't be more happy with it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up or leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think. If you'd like, you can check out the description box for links on how I painted those pumpkins I talked about earlier. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye now.